It's time to pull those belts tight, race fans. The front stretch is coming at you, presented by Joe's Karting in Council Bluffs. Now, here's Dan Taylor and Dirk Houston.
Hi, this is Brad Keselowski, 2012 NASCAR Sprint Cup champion, and you're listening to The Front Stretch.
Well, good morning to you, race fans, and welcome to The Front Stretch, presented by Joe's Karting in Council Bluffs, online at joeskarting.com. Fast-paced, white-knuckle racing just across the river on 23rd Avenue in Joe's Karting in Council Bluffs. Get over to Joe's Karting today for all your indoor kart racing. And big announcement coming from Adams County Speedway earlier this week. They announced their Grand Prix going on March 2nd. That's coming up this Saturday at Joe's Karting. It's presented by Joe's Karting and Quaker Steak and Lube. It's a great opportunity for crew members and drivers at Adams County Speedway to kind of get some preseason jitters worked out, a little bit of competition under the belt as the snow continues to fall.
Well, and you don't have to be an Adams County driver to come participate. Just come down and lay some smack down, do a little trash talking, and then just go out and back up your words.
We're going to get you more information on that coming up in turn number 3. Bob Harris of Adams County Speedway will join us and kind of talk about where the inspiration behind that came. And speaking of getting some racing under our belt, in about a week away, a little less than a week, about 10 days away, the Beatrice Spring Nationals are supposed to take place. The recent snowstorms and continued snowstorms, the forecast coming up this week, it's going to be a little bit tough to get that in, but we're going to talk to Toby Kruse, promoter for Beatrice, and talk about the Spring Nationals coming up the 7th and 8th and 9th. That's the Thursday the 7th is practice, 8th and 9th are competition nights, so we'll get you all set for that. It just fingers crossed, because you never do know. I mean, literally, it could snow on Monday and then on Sunday, and then we could have sunny weather all out throughout the week and dry that track out, and they could get it all ready to go for Thursday, Friday, Saturday. So,
and make sure and listen to that part of the show, because they do have a contingency plan for the snow if it doesn't get away soon enough.
Absolutely. Big show lined up for you, like we just talked about. Toby Kruse, Bob Harris coming up, respectively, turns 2 and 3. Then in turn number 4, we're going to preview today's race at Atlanta. And right now, we're going to recap what we saw at Daytona. And as we were watching from the Daytona 500 party, a pretty calm race to start off with, Dirk.
We pretty much saw yawn, crash.
Mm-hmm. And, honestly, some people had said that to me. They're like, well, I thought Daytona had more excitement than that. And I'm like, well, first off, no. I mean, it's just not the condition of the sport currently. When it costs $150,000 to $200,000 to put these cars together, and you get absolutely nothing for risking it on lap 13 as opposed to holding out and waiting till lap 197, 198, drivers aren't going to push the envelope. At Daytona, even if you take away the cost of the cars, let's take that factor out. Why would I ever risk it so much by pushing that envelope and trying to make up one more position early in the race when I know that if I wreck, there's a really good chance my car's not fixable. Today at Atlanta, if I push that envelope and I get into somebody and I tap the wall, they can still salvage the car and I can go out there and get a top 20 finish. Daytona, you wreck, you're done. I was surprised at the number of cars that were able to continue after they were involved in their first wreck, but then we kept wrecking and we got rid of them.
Well, yeah, the stage racing, what it did for this Daytona 500 is it set up, and the manufacturers kind of set themselves up. You saw Ford, once they got to their pit window, so they knew they could just make their pit stop and be good on gas, they went ahead and made their pit stops, the last 14, lap 15, something like that.
Yeah, it was early.
It was under green, and then they come out and they were, running 3/4 of a lap behind, but all the Fords were packed together, so they were in their own draft, and the Toyotas and Chevys were up pretty much in another draft, and then right about the time the Toyotas were going to have to pit, they ended up with a caution. Mm-hmm. So, and the Fords had used up a bunch of tire by then, so and hadn't taken any tires, but they didn't bother stopping, and so the Toyotas all come in under yellow and took 4 tires and then just went out and blew by them, pretty much to finish up the first stage. And the exact same thing happened in the second stage.
Yeah.
All the Fords pitted early again, lap 14 or 15 of that stage, and were in their fuel window and came back out, nobody taking tires or anything, and then the Toyotas waited and caught another yellow. It was just, it just happened that way. I don't think it was, the stars were aligned or anything like that. It just happened.
Yeah, it's interesting because, you try strategies like that at a track like Daytona, and it harkens back to when you were talking about, I think it was Jeff Gordon's crew chief, and his name's escaping me right now. Ray Everham, thank you. He was the first crew chief to really set the race up backwards.
Right, that was kind of his deal.
And that's kind of what, these guys are trying new things. And so they gave it a shot, and maybe they saw something that thought, let's try it again later on in Daytona or at Talladega, and let's see how it works when it actually works like we want it to, and let's see how it all rolls out, because they just got unlucky and it didn't work for them. But that's what a strategy is. It's just giving you another opportunity to be successful, and sometimes it just doesn't work.
Yeah, if that yellow hadn't have come when it did, with 15 or 20 laps to go in the segment, and everything would have cycled through, the Fords probably would have been in front and probably, would have had a bunch of top finishers in the segment. Even though the second segment, they still did get, Blaney still got the win.
Yeah.
But the caution came a little bit later, and everybody was able to come in and get tires and whatnot. So
I think the highest finishing Toyota in Stage 2 would have been Michael McDowell in 6th.
McDowell was in a Ford.
The 95?
No, that was Matt DiBenedetto. Matt DiBenedetto.
DiBenedetto. It's been a long week. Yeah. The 95, I believe the 95 of DiBenedetto was the first one, first Toyota. But still, I thought that every time I looked up, we were having a lot of fun at Quaker Steak and Lube, enjoying some beers and some wings and talking with people and kind of giving some people a hard time.
Giving away a lot of stuff with trivia.
I'm so happy we got rid of so much stuff, because it makes sorting it a lot easier on Monday. But every time I looked up, I saw at one time the high side was just everybody was in one line, and I thought, uh-oh. This is Daytona a couple of years ago when they all rode around in one line. But then it all kind of started to work its way out, and we started to see some good side-by-side racing, a majority of the race. We even saw some three-wide racing at times, which that doesn't happen a lot of times at Daytona. It happens quite a bit at Talladega, but it's rare at Daytona for a three-wide racing.
Well, there was even some four-wide stuff, but it was, short-lived, let's put it that way. They didn't try and run around the track like that, like in a four-wide. But there were some very good spots where there was a lot of racing going on, but overall, I think some of the driver errors were just ridiculous. And the one that really pops into my head, and it's not so much driver errors, it was definitely a spotter error. I'm sure when Clint Boyer pulled back to the right when he was making his pass, that his spotter said clear, and he was not.
Well, and you know this too. I'll defend the spotter. He's 2.5 miles away.
Well, no, he's not that far away, but because the track's 2.5 miles, but he's a mile away, but he's using binoculars and whatnot. Yeah. But
at that stage in the race, he kind of, if he'd have not tried to clear him, I think his momentum was gone, and he'd have just drifted back, and he'd have been farther in the back. Yeah. Which I guess that's the better option than being wrecked out. So
and wrecking half the field out. But
back it up a little bit to lap 160. I wanted to talk about this big wreck as several cars were coming down pit road, ready to make their pit stops, and the 52 and the 51. Somebody didn't get a memo. Somebody didn't wave to the other person, and I believe the 52 got into the back of the 51, sent the 51 around, and it caused havoc for the 4 or 5 cars in front of them that were slowing down to make pit road speed. The cars that were involved in that one were the 48, 17, 34, and 31. I believe the
51 and 52.
Yeah. Right. Yeah, they were involved too. I think the 51 might have gotten away with it. 34 never got any damage, which I was really surprised about. He just kind of, it all happened around him, and he was able to get away with it. But rough way for the 48, 17, and the 31 to end their days. Jimmy Johnson was able to get back out there, but at Daytona, when you've got damage like that, it's going to be tough for you to get up to the front. You could stay in the draft and be fine, but to try to battle for the lead, you're going to have too much drag.
And the 17 was able to stay out there and stay semi-competitive too. And even before that, you had the Kurt Busch in the one car, and I do believe that was a spotter deal too, because he came down. For once, it's hard to hear myself say this, but that wasn't Stenhouse's fault. Normally, at the restrictor plate, Stenhouse will bounce off of just about everybody, but that was Kurt Busch's fault. He come down and cut Stenhouse off. So, but I believe, again, that was a spotter error.
He took a lot of blame on when Fox releases that Radioactive on Tuesdays or Wednesdays. He took a lot of Stenhouse he took a lot of blame for drivers. They were at the beginning of that Radioactive. They were talking about how the 17 was going to destroy us all, and eventually he was involved in one of the big ones, and so he was getting a lot of grief from his fellow drivers.
But you had some of the back markers. Ross Chastain, who we spoke to in Kansas last fall, ended up with a real good run in an underfunded team. I think he finished 8th. Brendan Gaughan got caught in the second big one. He had snuck through the first one, but he'd stayed in the whole race. Another one of our friends with the show ended up towards the back. But
I was really impressed with the way the 95 car ran until they were obviously involved in a wreck. He was not only up front, but he was battling for quite a while in a good chance to win that race.
Well, he was up there with his teammates with all the Gibbs cars. I mean, that's now the satellite team for Joe Gibbs, and with what they're paying Gibbs to be able to run, they should run competitively and should be up front. I think the pressure, got to Matt a little bit there late in the race, and the pressure got to him, and so did Paul Menard.
And that was, Paul owned up to it later on. He said that was all my fault. Nothing that Matt did wrong. That was all Paul Menard's fault, which is nice to hear. Paul was a victim of a wreck the previous Sunday in the Clash. Jimmy Johnson got onto him, and Paul was a little upset, but Paul owned up to it pretty quickly and said, that was my fault. I should not have done what I did at the time.
Shouldn't have hit him that last time. He bumped him, a little bit down the back straightaway, but got him one last time going in the turn, and was a bad deal.
Ended up finishing 28th on the day. End of stage one, Kyle Busch gets the win, grabs a bonus playoff point. Alex Bowman comes home in second, Joey Logano in third, Daniel Suarez in fourth, and Ryan Blaney rounds out your top five. End of stage two, Blaney gets the win, followed by William Byron and Eric Almirola, then Brad Keselowski and Ricky Stenhouse Jr. So Ryan Blaney picking up a bonus playoff win. And then the carnage really started from there. End of lap 60, end of lap 160, we talked about that. The big one happened on lap 191 as we were coming to about 10 laps to go in the race. And Paul Menard gets into the back into Benedetto, which we were talking about. And man, they were battling for fourth, fifth position, maybe sixth. They were up there in the first 4 or 5 rows. And there was nowhere for anybody to go, and it was complete carnage.
Yep, they took a bunch of them out. There were guys that thought they were going to sneak through and got caught up into it. One of our buddies, Landon Castle, had got through most of it. And I believe he was involved in the second big one. Oh, he was in the second one? I think so. It was the first one. But either way, they were only 2 laps apart, so it didn't make a whole lot of difference.
They red flag out for quite a while as we got the track cleaned up and the cars off the track and everything all set to go. Then the second big one happened on the restart, lap 196. Stenhouse and Larson get together, taking a few cars with them. We go back under red flag, clean up the track, come back to green flag action, lap 199. Looks like we're going to do a green-white checker. Then that's when Bowyer and McDowell get together. Bowyer was not clear of the 34, and McDowell, I don't think anything wrong with what he did. He certainly has no obligation to lift and let the 14 in.
Oh, no, he did nothing wrong. He did nothing wrong. Like I said, the spotter, I'm sure, told Clint that he was clear high, and he wasn't. And, it was just a matter of a couple inches.
Yeah.
But
literally, that's what a lot of times when you're talking about these speeds, you're seeing it's a little bit more distance, but that was a couple of inches. And Clint would have been clear and had a great move on picking up that move. And come back after a red flag, we've got overtime. I counted 18 cars left on the lead lap.
That sounds
at that time.
Well, whether it was left on the lead lap or left on the track.
Yeah.
They didn't show too many times, where guys were, lap down or whatnot But 18 cars sounds right for what was left on that last restart. How many of them were on the lead lap, I don't quite know.
Hamlin restarts in front of his teammate Kyle Busch, to the side of Kyle Busch, right?
Yeah, and they were the front row.
Yep, and Logano, during that restart, a little frustrated with his Ford teammate Michael McDowell in the 34 car. McDowell seemed like he had a little bit of a run, and while the Logano was stalled out, McDowell went to the outside lane and followed the 18, and Logano felt like McDowell should have stuck with him.
Well, that's I'm sure the Ford engineers felt the same thing.
Yeah.
And there would I'm sure he got a stern talking to about that, that he should have gone and given Logano a push. Mm-hmm. But, it's all water under the bridge, but you can guarantee the favor will be returned later on down the road.
Yeah, absolutely. And I don't see anything wrong with what it's sense of, you want to stick with your manufacturer friends. But if I'm Michael McDowell, I might make the same move because I've got an opportunity to go win a race. If all I'm there to do is push Joey Logano, I'm not going to win a race.
Well, he wasn't going to. He was getting behind Kyle Busch. It's not like he was going for the lead. If you're going for the lead, it's Katie bar the door and let's go.
Mm-hmm.
But when you're, in the third, fourth, or fifth spot and you've got a chance to, hook up with a teammate and push them, follow them, whatever, that's usually what the manufacturers prefer you do.
Hamlin ends up holding on, ends up picking up the win with his new crew chief. Correct me because I believe I'm wrong on this number. Was it a 42-winless streak that he snapped? I thought I saw some graphic at the beginning of the race that had been 42 races since
40.
he won.
It was 47.
Okay.
I remember Stan Caesar specifically saying 47.
You're right. You're absolutely, because that's Stan Caesar's. And by the way, Stan ended up winning $100 from Quaker Steak and Lube because Stan was the only person to take Hamlin for the win. So Hamlin snaps a 47-race winless streak and a very emotional win for that team, as that was the day Joe Gibbs Racing and their 4 cars were honoring the passing of J.D. Gibbs, who had helmed and ran that team for quite a few years.
Correct.
He passed away in the offseason, and they did some really nice tributes to him that race. So it was very special to see Denny not only get over that winless hump, finally pick up a win, punch his ticket to the playoffs, get some extra bonus playoff points, but also be able to honor his former team owner, J.D. Gibbs, after the passing.
Well, and then you had Kyle Busch in the 18 run second. You had Eric Jones in the 20 run third. So the Gibbs cars finished 1, 2, 3. Pretty phenomenal.
Joey Logano came home 4th. Michael McDowell got himself a top 5 finish. Ty Dillon came home in 6th. Kyle Larson 7th. Ryan Preece in 8th. Jimmy Johnson 9th. And Ross Chastain rounds out your top 10. Ryan Preece in that 47 car for the first time. A.J. Allmendinger let go after the 2018 season. Ryan Preece taking over that ride. Good run for Ryan Preece. Now, at Daytona, it's a completely different animal than we're going to today at Atlanta. You're going to really see what these cars have for a season-long competition. But, when a driver like Michael McDowell and Ryan Preece and Ross Chastain are able to finish in the top 10, that's a big payday for those guys that will probably help them get down the road for the next 4 or 5 races.
Well, and, the 47's a well-funded team. So they're not like the 15. The 15, that is a huge payday for them with Ross Chastain. So that's, a real shot in the arm for their team. But for the 47, it's not that big a deal. I mean, they would expect to have finished in the top 10. So, but the season starts today at Atlanta. So we'll see what everybody's got going forward.
Before we wrap up turn number 1, let's give away some tickets. We got word earlier this week, and we'll make the formal announcement on Facebook and get you guys all set for it. But the front stretch will be at this year's World of Wheels Car Show, March 15th, 16th, and 17th. It's a 3-day show. We're going to go down and we're going to have interviews with a lot of drivers. We're setting up a ton of interviews with drivers and promoters so that we can play them back in coming weeks on the show. And we found out that Tony Stewart is going to be the celebrity to be signing autographs at the World of Wheels Car Show coming up on that Saturday from noon to 2. But your opportunity to win a 4-pack to the World of Wheels Car Show coming up at the CHI Center March 15th, 16th, and 17th is right now. First person to call 402-573-0590 and answer this trivia question is going to win themselves a family 4-pack to the World of Wheels Car Show at the CHI Center on March 15th, 16th, or 17th. Again, 402-573-0590. 590. Here's your trivia question. It's a real easy one. Who won the 2018 Cup Series race at Atlanta? Who won the 2018 Cup Series race at Atlanta? Who won this race last year at Atlanta, the race we're going to today? 402-573-0590. First person to answer that correctly is going to get themselves a family 4-pack to the World of Wheels Car Show at the CHI Center March 15th, 16th, or 17th. And I say or because you pick the day and you come on down and have a good time. So I'm thinking maybe you're going to pick that Saturday.
Yeah, it's not a weekend pass. It's good, for get in one time with it.
Yep, absolutely. But it's 4 passes. So you and the whole family, you and a couple of buddies, whoever you want to. Maybe you want to bring, I was going to say me, but we're going to be there. So that doesn't really work out. All right, we're going to take a break. We'll be back in turn number 2 as Toby Kruse, promoter for Beatrice, will be on the show to talk about the Beatrice Spring Nationals coming up next.
Every race car driver has run into the same problem. It's well past normal parts store closing hours, but you need that one to finish your car. The guys who brought you White Knuckle Racing by the River bring you Joe's Karting Racing Parts and Tire Store. Open until 10 p.m. Monday to Thursday and open until 11 p.m. on Friday and Saturday. A parts store that fits your after-hours schedule, and you can turn a few laps at Joe's Karting while you're waiting for your part to get pulled from their warehouse. joeskarting.com for more information.
Racers all over the country are discovering the benefits of powder coating their chassis. Powder coating offers a clean, even finish you will be proud to show off to fans and sponsors. Plus, it's a more durable surface. While looking beautiful, powder coating offers superior protection against corrosive chemicals typically spilled during routine maintenance. Bare frames start at $275 with estimates available if blasting or reworking is needed. Get your quote today by emailing Jordan F. at redoakfabrication.com or by calling 712-623-4911.
Every driver is looking for the competitive edge, and fantasy racing is no different. Get the competitive edge on your league by subscribing to fantasyracingtips.com. Chad Robb, a member of the Fantasy Sports Writers Association, gives you great insight, statistics, and easy-to-understand information for each race. He'll give you the competitive advantage that'll put Benjamins back in your wallet. From DraftKings to season-long NASCAR fantasy leagues, Chad knows who you should take each race. Turn your fantasy season around at fantasyracingtips.com.
We're hooked up in turn 2 and still showing the green flag on the front stretch.
Hey, this is Courtney Forrest, driver of the Advanced Auto Parts Funny Car, and you're listening to the Metro's only all-racing talk show, The Front Stretch.
Welcome back to the front stretch, rolling into turn number 2, and it's time to have another Red Oak Fabrication interview. Red Oak Fabrication offering powder coating at an affordable price. Get your bare chassis powder coated for just $275. If you have any sandblasting or reworking that needs to be done, might be a little bit more for the man hours. So just give Jordan a call today, 712-623-4911, or email him jordanf@redoakfabrication.com for a free estimate. RedOakFabrication.com for more information. Joining us now on the phone is the promoter for Beatrice Speedway, and the guy that's the mastermind behind the Beatrice Spring Nationals coming up in just another week. Toby Kruse joining us. How you doing, sir?
Oh, doing great. Thanks for having us on the show. Definitely appreciate that, indeed.
Well, it's nice to be talking about racing and getting ready for a local dirt race. Unfortunately, we just got another blast of snow over the weekend.
Yeah, it's been pretty crazy. And I know the million-dollar question is, what's the weather going to do and things like that. But, we're always optimistic, and hopefully things change here soon. And, yeah, it's crazy with the white stuff on the ground. We're already talking about spinning circles at Beatrice.
Absolutely. And, like you just said, you have no idea what the weather is going to do. I mean, all of a sudden we could get 50 and 60-degree days, and it'll only take a couple of them to melt that and dry out the track, and you guys can get to work prepping it.
Well, and that's like, 2 weeks ago on a Sunday, Billy and Brian that do the track prep, they got the equipment out and had things kind of starting to get things ready to go. And it was one of them 50-some degree days, and then Mother Nature gives us snow. And, you stick with the schedule and see what happens. We've had to move it back in the past, but right now everything is, still on from March 7th through the 9th as planned, but we'll kind of keep an eye on the weather, and we'll give people plenty of notice if we have to make any changes on things.
So your Spring Nationals coming up again. You said practice on March 7th, and then the races are going to be the 8th and the 9th. Can you give us a rundown on the classes that are going to be running on Friday night and then Saturday night?
Well, it's kind of a neat thing. For the first time joining us, we'll have the IMCA late models on Friday night. We'll have the modifieds, IMCA sport mods, stock cars, and hobby stocks. And then on Saturday night, we'll have those same classes, plus we'll add the IMCA sport compacts. So the hobby stock cars, sport mods, modifieds, late models, and they run a complete show each night. So it's 2 separate shows. So always tell the racers, the fans, if you can't make Friday, that show has no impact on the Saturday show. It's another redraw format, so they can still come out and join us on Saturday.
Awesome. That's really nice for them to do because, like we've all talked about, sometimes you get stuck at work, you're not able to make it on Friday night, so all of a sudden you're like, well, I guess I'm out for Friday and Saturday, but now they can come join you.
Yeah, and we changed that a few years back, and it's kind of like you said. You've got people that work or potentially a wedding or something that would have interfered with one night, so then they can't come at all. But by with the format we have, they can still make one of those nights. And same way with the fans. If you can't make both nights, you can still see a full show on one night or the other. And, man, I just hope and pray this weather changes for us. And so like today, it's a beautiful day. The sun is out. Things are melting a little bit, but I'd love to have about another 20 degrees out of the sunshine.
Well, I wish in one hand, in the other, and we'll
get out there with a big piece of aluminum and just do the reflector thing.
Yeah, we're going to do whatever it takes. That's for darn sure.
What do they call that? The Archimedes laser? Isn't that what it's called or something like that? But again, coming up on the 8th and the 9th, and I've been really happy to see your guys' car turnout the last couple of years. You've been 200 to almost 300 plus.
Yeah, a couple of years back, it was one of those just crazy year, and that's why it's always a roll of the dice in March. But my word, we hit 70 plus degrees, and I think that year we did just hit over 300 race cars and set an all-time record. And so we're hoping for more of the same. I always tell the people if they can't make it, and one of the things that I think has helped the event out is having Speed Shift TV on hand. That way, if people can't make it, or if you've never seen Beatrice, they're able to watch on Speed Shift, and they're like, man, that looks like some great racing or a neat place, and brings them out the next year. And so we're just gonna watch this weather very closely over the next week and see what Mother Nature has in store.
Well, you got cabin fever going on, so if you get a day that they say the weather is going to be above 50 degrees, you'll have cars coming out your ears.
Well, you know what? What's crazy is like December wasn't a real bad month for the weather, and it kind of had people spring fever. And, man, after Christmas, it reared its ugly head. Winter did, and we hit the snow and the cold temps. And you're exactly right. 2 months of this, people are ready to get outside. I know I'm starting to go stir crazy. I want to work outside in the worst ways. And I think people are ready to go. And you talk to the different guys that have changed classes or moved around. Always fun to see the new color schemes and sponsors, and I'm ready to see some laps March 7th, hopefully.
Well, you want to work outside in the worst way, you just drive on up here, and I'll hand you a snow shovel, partner.
Yeah, I got plenty of that to move in Central Iowa. There's no shortage of that by any means.
Talking with Toby Kruse, the promoter for Beatrice Raceway, getting set for the Beatrice Spring Nationals coming up. Practice night on March 7th, racing on March 8th and 9th. If we live a ways away, maybe we're not able to get to the track. You had briefly mentioned that we'll be able to watch it live on SpeedNet?
On Speed Shift TV.
Speed Shift TV, that's right. Thank you.
Yep, SpeedShiftTV.com. The last several years, and some great coverage, and you need to go check out their website to see any of the highlights from the past, and they'll be doing a lot of promotions in the upcoming days and start getting people all geared up and ready to go.
Any specials set for the 8th and the 9th that fans can expect, or big purses, extra purses, bonus purses, things like that?
Well, it's just honestly for the modifieds to be racing for $2,500 to win each day. That's more than a lot of multi-day shows pay. And then I think with the first time in the history bringing the late models on, there has been a lot of buzz about that. And with 3 local racetracks within a 100-mile or so radius of Beatrice sanctioning IMC late models this year, that's the reason we want to dabble in that a little bit. And there's been a lot of excitement and anticipation. So I just can't wait. I hope all systems are go. But worst case, if we have to move back a week or something like that, we'll do everything we can in our power to make it happen. And we put the racetrack first. We don't want to try and force it, so we'll make sure the track is going to be ready to go and make it a pleasurable experience for all those involved.
So you kind of alluded to it there. There is a contingency plan if weather does not cooperate. You've got a backup date for practice on the 14th, racing on the 15th and 16th.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And that's, March, last several years, you hit the 5 weekends in there, and we used to kind of be about the 10th through the 12th, and so we're a little earlier than usual, but we do have that cushion of a backup date, and so it's nice to have that in the back pocket, I guess, in case we need it.
Yeah, it's always good to have that. Like you said, I'm amazed at the number of tracks that won't talk about their backup plan because, I don't know, they feel like it's going to make...
Yeah, they don't want to jinx them.
Yeah, I don't know. God forbid you get the information out to the listeners and the fans so that way they can make plans accordingly. So kudos to you for having that plan ready to go.
Well, I appreciate that, and everything I do, I feel you're better off to be transparent and honest with people because you just don't leave them wondering what's going on. And to me, people can watch that forecast and they have an idea. So I'd rather start letting them know we do have a plan in place.
Toby Kruse of Beatrice Speedway. You can get more information, BeatriceSpeedway.com for the 2019 Spring Nationals. Coming up again, March 7th, 8th, and 9th, with the backup plan being the 14th, 15th, and 16th. Looks like your guys' season opener is going to be May 4th this year.
Yes, it is. We always, it's crazy. We start so early, then take some time off. But, out there getting the people through school and get through graduation and closer to the end of that the school months, it works out great. And May 4th we'll get things kicked off and back underway, and we're looking forward to a good season in 2019. The car counts have been very, very good the last couple of years. Actually been up a little bit, and so optimistic for what 2019 has in store.
Toby, thanks so much for your time, man. We do appreciate it. We'd love to take more, but I know you're running around like a one-legged man in an ass-kicking contest.
Well, I appreciate everything you guys do, and look forward to seeing everybody out there at Beatrice Speedway here in a couple of weeks. Actually, 2 weeks from Thursday, we'll be going on March 7th.
Yep, that 2 weeks, it's crazy to think, but it very well could be dry. Thanks for your time, buddy. You have a great day.
Thank you very much. Wishing you the best in 19.
Thank you. See ya.
Bye-bye.
Bye. So once again, that was Toby Kruse, promoter for Beatrice Speedway. Apologize, I said Raceway once in there, but I got it corrected now. BeatriceSpeedway.com for more information on that. Sport compacts, hobby stock cars, and sport mods are going to be running on Friday and Saturday night. And the new, like he had mentioned, the IMCA-sanctioned late models for both nights. 1,000 to win for the late models each day, 1,000 for the sport mods, and the modifieds, I missed the modifieds in there. They're going to be $2,500 to win each day, like he talked about. So $1,000 to win for the sport mods and stock cars, $500 to win for the hobbies, and sport compacts are $200 to win both days.
And being the first race out, if they get that race in, they have a field of modifieds that would be that rival the Boone Nationals.
Everybody takes the opportunity, as this is the race, to get your car worked in, and it's their first opportunity. They want to get in 3 or 4 races before they really start pushing. And that's not to say they're not going to race hard at this race. They're going to definitely try to figure out their new cars. They've got brand new equipment, and let's face it, like he mentioned, cabin fever is a big factor to some amazing races at this race, because these guys have been doing iRacing all off season. They haven't been behind the wheel since September or October, and they're ready to go.
Yeah, I mean, Graybo will be down there at Jet's home track, so Jet will be there and has always had good runs there. I'm sure Dylan Smith will tow down that way. He's not that far from there. That will be a who's who in that modified division down there.
Sport mods too, your stock cars, hobby stocks, and again, sport compacts. They're going to be on Saturday only with $200 to win. It's going to be a big field of cars. We just got to keep our fingers crossed. Mother Nature finally quits this. All right, I'm done. No, I'm back again. Oh, okay, that was enough. Not back again. Here's another big snowstorm. So
that's how you can tell it's a woman. It's not Father Nature. It's Mother Nature. Keeps coming back to slap you again.
Yeah. Just when you think she's done, she goes back in the room. Now, one more thing. And all right, we're going to take a break. We'll be back in turn number 3. Bob Harris from Adams County Speedway will come talk to us about the ACS Grand Prix coming up next weekend at Joe's Karting and Quaker Steak and Lube. We'll be back on the front stretch.
Finding a home can be the most important decision in your life. It's the simple factors of neighborhood, garage size, the school district, and commute that get overlooked by most realtors. Those are the aspects that Jim Blazina has been focusing on since 1988. From rental properties to your forever home, the Racing Realtor will work hard to get you exactly what you're looking for, and he can help list your home for a speedy sale. Contact Jim Blazina today, 402-980-8400, or jblazina at npdodge.com.
We all have that coworker that runs their mouth off at how great they are. They shot a 5 under par, 95-mile-an-hour fastball, bench press 375, brah. Wouldn't you love to shut them up by schooling them at Joe's Karting? Council Bluffs' premier indoor karting track, professionally designed so each corner is your opportunity to embarrass your coworker. Call Buddy for your next company outing at 712-256-5278. Joe's Karting, white knuckle racing just across the river on 23rd Avenue next to AMC 17.
If you love wings, if you love rings, and all kinds of other tempting things, great times, great food, get to Quaker Steak and Lube.
Quaker Steak and Lube is the official watering hole of the front stretch and the home of MAV TV, featuring action from the Lucas Oil Late Model Series.
Great times, great food, get to Quaker Steak and Lube.
Located on Mid-America Drive in Council Bluffs.
Drivers, start your engines. The race season is just around the corner, and Hoosier Tire Great Plains Precise Racing Products is helping you save big with their open house February 25th to March 2nd. They've created some exclusive open house specials, like 4x10 sheets of sheet metal for $64.99 each. Schaefer's Racing Oil 15% off, 10% off all Dirt Defenders mud covers. Bassett wheels starting at $59.99. NGK plugs just $15 for 2 boxes. Great savings on racing optics, G-Force helmets and suits, plus doorbuster prizes each day. Be in store or watching on Facebook Live Monday through Thursday at 6 p.m. for a chance to win a $100 gift card. Be in store Friday so you can win a free Oakley t-shirt. Or on Saturday for your chance to win fuel jugs, Oakley t-shirts, tires, and so much more. Follow the Hoosier Tire Great Plains Precise Racing Facebook page. Shop online at preciseracing.com or shop in person at the Bennington store. The 2019 Open House. Your chance to save big on your race budget.
Feather the brake and get back to the gas. Dan and Dirk are headed into turn 3 on the front stretch.
Hi, I'm Hudson O'Neill, driver of the number 71, Dyno 1 Peak Antifreeze Motor Oil Club 29 race car, and you're listening to the front stretch.
Welcome back to the front stretch. Rolling into turn number 3. Time to have another interview brought to you by Red Oak Fabrication, offering powder coating at an affordable price. Get your chassis powder coated for just $275 on a bare frame. You can get reworking and sandblasting done just a little bit more. So give Jordan a call today, 712-623-4911, or email him, jordanf@redoakfabrication.com, for a free estimate. Joining us on the show now, becoming a regular because of all the great things you guys are doing down at ACS, Bob Harris joining us. How you doing, bud?
Hey, thanks a lot, guys. It's I don't know about the snow, man. We were just talking. We may have to lengthen our season instead of getting things underway here. And,
well,
we can crazy.
We can add a snowmobile class.
Sure, why not?
You know, we just got done talking with Toby Kruse from Beatrice Speedway, wanting to get ready for the Beatrice Spring Nationals, and I'm kind of worried. I think we're going to be okay for the Crack a Cold One March 30th. I'm a little worried that they're going to be able to get the races in with all the snow on the ground coming up in 2 weeks, the 7th, 8th, and 9th.
Well, last week it warmed up a little bit, and we're going to get snow Saturday, so you just never know. So all we can do is just put it on the schedule and try to do everything we can to get these pulled off. And it seems like we're all trying to hedge our bet, trying to get these done early in the season to get it before everybody starts their point seasons, and it really kind of gets your season kicked off the right way. But that's the reason why we came up with this special promotion for next weekend, and it was, I'm tired of looking at snow, and we need to have a little fun and talk a little racing.
And the good news is it's at an indoor facility, so you don't have to worry about snow.
This is true.
A little bit of a hedge. A little bit of a hedge on your bet there, huh?
Exactly. It's tough to put a half-mile dome over the Adams County Speedway or even I-80 Speedway. That'll be a big facility. But when you go to Tulsa for the midgets down there, that's an awesome deal, but just doesn't work on an outdoor venue. So, like I said, we were just trying to have a little fun early before the season gets kicked off. And what better place than Joe's Karting and having some pops and wings, as you guys usually do, or Quaker Steak and Lube. So it just made a perfect sense, the combination of those two, and just kind of get some early bragging rights for early preseason.
Well, you're talking about the preseason party, calling it the Adams County Speedway Grand Prix Saturday, March 2nd at Joe's Karting, and then the after party to commence at Quaker Steak and Lube. Walk us through kind of where you guys came up with this idea, how many Crack a Cold Ones you'd had when it came to fruition, and how this all kind of came together.
Well, we're doing the huge NASCAR drive with the NASCAR memberships, and a lot of people are imported to our racetrack. So, where they can't come to us, we need to come to them. And obviously, we pull a lot of drivers from the Council Bluffs, Omaha Metro down to the Speedway. And so this is just an opportunity to give them to come and purchase their NASCAR license, get their pit pads taken care of, and like I said, just have a little fun around the Joe's Karting. And so it's really going to be each class, compacts, modified, B-mods, stock cars, and hobbies. Those drivers will compete against themselves, and so then we're going to give a free entry into the Crack a Cold One. So it's actually going to be some prize money and some trophies on the line for these guys to come back and see if they can get some early preseason. And it's not just the Adams County Speedway drivers. We invite Crawford, Shelby County, Beatrice, Eagle, I-80, just to come over and have some fun. And we got some good pricing from Joe's Karting for this, and it's just going to be a blast, I think.
All modified drivers, B-mod drivers, stock cars, hobby stocks, and compacts are welcome to come. It's going to be Saturday, March 2nd, coming up this Saturday at 2:30, the first annual preseason ACS Grand Prix presented by Joe's Karting and Quaker Steak and Lube. 30 looks like all races will be 3 heat races for $33 for the drivers.
So it'll be $10 plus their $3 one-time membership. If you want the annual member, you can step up to the $7 one. But Buddy Ray over there has done a good job putting this together, and of course Chris Morrison and Quaker Steak is those guys are great for motorsports, and what better way to melt some snow and get ready for for the preseason. We may not have practice, so this could be the only practice these drivers get, turning the left hand and a few right hands in there before we start the season this year.
Well, don't get them too used to turning right. You may have to work on
Good point.
that outside retaining wall.
Exactly. Good point. Well, yeah, good point. So it'll be just fun. I know you guys you're running away scared, so we can't have our other show against your show. But maybe another time we'll maybe have a compact race.
Well, we have regular contributors on the show. So you'd called us out a little bit and said the Pit Side Live boys are going to be calling out the front stretch guys to see who really has the inside scoop. Were you talking about a throwdown race?
Oh, you got to race. I mean, I've got Billy, who's about your size, and Derek, you and I, we'll be
pretty evenly matched,
fighting up the rear. So I mean, we got it covered, man.
Well, I mean, we've got some regulars on the show that I could send over in competition. I mean, I think Jack Dover is on the show quite a bit, and
there you go, yeah,
and Andrew Kaczynski and Cody Ledger. So we could send them to drive for us in our honor.
Well, we didn't say bringing in some hot shoes now, I've never driven other than a celebrity race, Billy's race. So I mean, you guys got an advantage there. So we talk a fast game. So that's the fun part.
That's all we're good at, though, is talking fast games.
Yeah, if the dates would have worked out, it would have been a lot of fun, I think. But
yeah.
Just, we're already booked up that day, so.
I understand.
And that doesn't happen very often, so you guys really picked a bad day.
I think you guys knew we were booked that day, and that's why you booked it.
Ah, there you go. That could be, too.
The cat's out of the bag now. We got a few more big announcements that we're still working on for the season, and we'll have those maybe by the time the next week rolls around. So working on a couple of chassis deals to give away, and of course we've got our Driver of the Year award that'll be a chase format that Stalker Chevrolet has kicked up $3,000 for that point fund. So we're just trying to throw some more money at these guys and see if they can become regulars at ACS.
Drivers that want to get involved in it can RSVP by texting at 712-304-2015. 712-304-2015. Is it free to register and get involved in it?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And you don't even really have to RSVP. Just show up. I just kind of wanted to have an idea so I could let Buddy know number of heat races and all that stuff. So we were kind of prepared before that for next weekend. So you don't have to RSVP, but it'd be nice just to let us know. So I know we've got a lot of excitement at the Speedway. We've never sold out the entire pit pad at the Speedway, and we've only got 5 left.
Wow.
Available. So that just tells me that there's a lot of interest for 19 and throwing some more money at the mod. $650 to win, $125 to start is going to be some. You never know with drivers whether they're going to come or not until you open up the gates. But early on, it shows like there's some real excitement and some positive vibes going for ACS this year.
Absolutely, you guys are doing a great job. Find out more information on the Adams County Facebook page about the ACS Grand Prix going on this Saturday, March 2nd, at Joe's Karting, and then the after party at Quaker Steak and Lube. Probably be a great opportunity for fans to come by and meet some of their favorite ACS drivers.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, fans, crew members, family members, drivers, we want them all there just to have and just come have some fun, get some good camaraderie, and maybe a little trash talking going on. See who can come home with some bragging rights. You gotta try it at least once and see if it'll work. I think it'll be good, a lot of fun for everybody to come over.
When was the last time you were over at Quaker Steak and Lube?
Well, probably about 2 months ago.
Okay, so not too long. I was going to say, if you need some recommendations, I pretty much know that menu like the back of my hand.
You guys do. So it'll be a lot of fun.
Bob Harris of Adams County Speedway, man, you're always a good time to have on the show. We always do appreciate having you on, and we look forward to talking to you when you guys are ready to make your more announcements, probably in the next coming weeks.
All right, you guys are the best. Thanks for the support.
Thanks you, Bob. Have a good one.
Thanks, Bob.
Bye.
Once again, Bob Harris of Adams County Speedway. Find him online, acsspeedway.com. You can search for him on Facebook, Adams County Speedway Corning, Iowa. The Grand Prix coming up this Saturday, March 2nd at Joe's Karting. Unfortunately, we're going to be down at the Precise Racing Products open house. And, man, when he sent that out, I was like, gosh, I really wanted to go down there. I haven't been to Joe's in too long.
What time are we done on Saturday?
Well, I think our last interview is scheduled at 1:15, but we're still trying to get more guys. So maybe we can go down there and race with them.
Catch something at the end, maybe.
Yeah, we'll see what we can do for you. But the ACS Grand Prix, boy, it'll be fun to go down there. But then I kind of, if we lose, I can't talk anymore. So
Don't lose.
That's a good point. No, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to blame it on the tech officials. We're going to take a break. We'll be back to wrap this baby up in turn 4.
Drivers, start your engines. The race season is just around the corner, and Hoosier Tire Great Plains Precise Racing Products is helping you save big with their open house February 25th to March 2nd. They've created some exclusive open house specials, like 4x10 sheets of sheet metal for $64.99 each. Schaefer's Racing Oil 15% off, 10% off all Dirt Defenders mud covers. Bassett wheels starting at $59.99. NGK plugs just $15 for 2 boxes. Great savings on racing optics, G-Force helmets and suits, plus doorbuster prizes each day. Be in store or watching on Facebook Live Monday through Thursday at 6 p.m. for a chance to win a $100 gift card. Be in store Friday so you can win a free Oakley t-shirt, or on Saturday for your chance to win fuel jugs, Oakley t-shirts, tires, and so much more. Follow the Hoosier Tire Great Plains Precise Racing Facebook page. Shop online at preciseracing.com or shop in person at the Bennington store. The 2019 Open House, your chance to save big on your race budget.
Racers all over the country are discovering the benefits of powder coating their chassis. Powder coating offers a clean, even finish you will be proud to show off to fans and sponsors. Plus, it's a more durable surface. While looking beautiful, powder coating offers superior protection against corrosive chemicals typically spilled during routine maintenance. Bare frames start at $275 with estimates available if blasting or reworking is needed. Get your quote today by emailing Jordan F. at redoakfabrication.com or by calling 712-623-4911.
Hey, look at that. You're sitting on your couch playing Halo, Madden, or NASCAR while your friends are at Joe's Karting. Each lap is an adrenaline-filled, heart-pumping, white-knuckle experience that you can only get at the Metro's largest indoor karting track. Eco-friendly Honda engines rip you around their professionally designed road course at breakneck speeds. Can you reach the 14-second lap bracket? There's only one way to find out. Put the controller down and get to Joe's Karting, 23rd Avenue in Council Bluffs next to Quaker Steak and Lube.
It's checkers or wreckers as we enter turn 4 on the front stretch, presented by Joe's Karting in Council Bluffs.
Hey, Sprint Car fans, this is Shaylee Bade, the driver of the 03 U.S. Army Hellgate Construction Sprint Car. You're listening to the front stretch.
Welcome back to the front stretch. Rolling into turn 4, just about ready to wrap this baby up. Brought to you by Quaker Steak and Lube, the official watering hole of the front stretch. Get over to the Lube today for all the green flag action for Atlanta Motor Speedway. Coverage is on Fox and PRN. If you don't happen to have those stations or you don't want to pay the exorbitant price for the channels, you can just go over to Quaker Steak and Lube. You'll spend far less in beer and, well, actually, if it was me, I spend far more than my monthly satellite subscription in beer and wings, but that's just because I have an eating and drinking problem.
But huge shout out to them for our Daytona 500 party. They set us up real nice. We had a great turnout. We had good food. Seemed like there was plenty to drink. They pretty much let us take over and run the whole deal. A lot of happy people with the Denny Hamlin win that had the racing pools that were done a little bit different this year. But still, we had a $200 pool winner, a $100 pool winner, and three $50 pool winners. So congrats to those people. And Stan Caesar, one of our regulars on the show, was the only person in the Quaker Steak contest to pick Denny Hamlin. So he took home the $100 there. And it was a good time.
Absolutely. It's always a great time down at Quaker Steak and Lube. And we thank, and you said it too, thank you everybody that came out. But a big thank you because we got a snowstorm Saturday night, all day Saturday into Saturday night. So it was a little bit treacherous on the roads, but there was still a lot of people that turned out. We filled up the Brickyard as we usually do. We had some spillover into the other rooms. So big thank you to Quaker Steak for letting us come out. And we just got to have a heck of a time.
And we were giving away all kinds of hero cards and some hats and some shirts and just about anything anybody told us to give away, we did. Joe's Karting even stopped by and gave us some laps of the kart track out. So those got picked up rather quickly. So
great time down at Quaker Steak. Put it on your calendar. The next time we'll be down there for an event will be the Mud Summer Classic or the Eldora Dirt Race for the Truck Series coming up. When is that? Usually first or second week of July. Oh, it's right before the Silver Dollar Nationals.
Yeah, it's in July.
Monday before the Silver Dollar Nationals.
Wednesday before.
For Pete's sake. I got to wrap this show up and go back to bed. It's been a long, long week. Do apologize. So, yeah, it'll be the Wednesday before the Silver Dollar Nationals. And we heard a little bit of a rumor that was confirmed. We talked to Mike Mittler on Thursday night. We're going to play that interview back for you next Sunday, and he is going to confirm who his driver is for that Eldora Dirt Race on the Wednesday before the Silver Dollar Nationals. So make sure you're listening next weekend for the Mike Mittler interview, talking about the Mittler Cutler brothers and when they're going to be, who they're going to be running at Eldora.
Not that anybody cares about a dirt race.
Right. Nobody does care.
Yeah.
Thank you to everybody who signed up for the Pick'ems contest presented by Rick Havenridge. We have over 100 people in the contest for the first time in its history.
Crack the C note. Big deal. Good job.
And once again, I'm reminded why I'm so thankful we switched to NASCARPoolsOnline.com.
And our last year's champion was crowned and received her trophy.
That is such a cool trophy. I wish I'd have gotten pictures of it before we gave it away. But
it's picture in
the
pictures,
giveaway. Yeah, we got pictures of us all standing there, but I wanted to get an up-close picture of it because it is such a cool trophy that goes home with Barb Blazina, and she got to thank all the guys back at the shop for all their hard work. She'd been just dying to say that for a while, so that was really cool. So thank you again to Rick Havenridge for presenting the Pick'ems contest. Rick Havenridge of Wealth Partners. It's a financial advisory practice of Ameriprise Financial Services Incorporated. Visit them online, truewealthpartners.com, or go right to Rick's page, rickhavenridgeadvice.com. And Havenridge, spelled exactly how it sounds, rickhavenridgeadvice.com for more information on that. Thanks so much to Rick for not only presenting the Pick'ems contest, but also paying for the trophy and being such a great supporter of the show.
Yeah, he was there. He had a good time and got to watch some racing. He had to cut out a little bit before it was over, but he seemed to be enjoying himself. And the one thing that Barb did not do is she did not run down her list of sponsors.
Yeah,
we
got to work on that. You'd think that maybe Jim Blazina Real Estate would be one of her sponsors.
Would have been in there, maybe. But
maybe he gave her a stern talking to and penalized her for not giving sponsor credit in Victory Lane.
That could be. Maybe he turned the trophy sideways and put his name on it or something.
Yeah. All right. A big thank you again to everybody who came out. And we're excited to be down at the Hoosier Tire Great Plains Open House coming up this Saturday. We're going to be there at about 8:30 to get set up. And then we're going to be enjoying all the festivities they have going on that Saturday. In case you haven't heard yet, big open house. They're getting everybody set for the 2019 race season. So drivers can get big discounts on pop rivets, rivet guns, sheet metal, Hoosier tires, All-Star products. I'm trying to think of all of them off the top of my head. They've been publishing a bunch of videos to get you all set for the open house coming up. It's all this week. It starts Monday, and then it goes until Saturday afternoon or Saturday evening when they make the final drawings. And one of those drawings, for any of you drivers out there, if you are at Precise Racing Products at 6 o'clock when they make the drawing, you could win yourself a $500 sponsorship package from Precise Racing Products. So big things to be given away all week long, and then on Saturday. But you and I are really excited about it because it's a great opportunity for us to sit down in person with a lot of our race car fans.
Yeah, well, and we we're going to be doing some interviews, that'll be played back over the next coming months on the show here. But it's always nice to hear from some of these guys, just as we do on our regular interviews. Hey, what do you got going up?
Mm-hmm.
What's coming up for 2019 for you? Anybody changing classes? You're going to be driving a new ride. What do you got going? And it's always nice to get going on that stuff.
Yep, and it's good for us. We have interviews in the can, so that way, end of July or end of February, March, and into April, we sit down and record 20 minutes worth of a show, and we've got the other 40 already done with interviews. So it's a lot of fun for us because it gets you guys up to date on what they're doing. We get to talk to people in person, which we always prefer to do. It's much easier to have an in-person conversation rather than over the phone, and we get a little legwork done. So those we're going to be publishing exactly when drivers are going to be coming. So Jack Dover's confirmed to be there. Shaylee Bade's going to be there. Tyler Drucke, Stu Schneider, Kate Higday. We're going to have a bunch of drivers and coming down. And if you're a fan of them, you're free to come down. You can come down and hang out with us. And whenever Jack gets, I think he's scheduled for 12:45 on that Saturday. You can swing by at 12:30 and sit down, and you can watch us as we interview him, and then you can talk to him and get anything signed you want to, and maybe even buy some gear because I think he's going to bring some stuff down to the back of his truck.
Yeah, and just please remember, because we did something similar to this last year and got a big snowstorm on that Saturday morning. So obviously weather permitting for a lot of these drivers coming in from Lincoln and the outlying areas.
Absolutely. All right, let's get ready for today's race. We got a couple of minutes left in the show. We are moving on to race number 2 at Atlanta Motor Speedway. And Dirk, we've talked a little bit about it. This is the start to the 2019 season.
Correct. Yeah, the restrictor plate race that they open up with, the so-called Super Bowler racing, is always a crapshoot. But now we've got the new aero package and restrictors on the motors and all that new stuff that they actually ran at Charlotte last year in the All-Star race to try it out. But all that's coming into play today. So it's definitely going to be something to watch.
Absolutely. I'm going to be really excited to watch it. And I think there's going to be an added factor. Now, again, we've talked about it over the last couple of weeks, and this has been a common fact. We record the show on Thursday. There was big storms coming to the Atlanta area on Friday and Saturday, so there is a very good chance that these guys did not get any practice time before today's race. You want to make sure and follow the Facebook page, keep up to date with that. But if they don't get any practice time, this is going to make it really fun for fans because these guys are going to be upset behind the wheel until they're able to make a competition caution, probably sometime in the lap, 30?
25, 30,
yeah,
somewhere around there. But there were a group, I think there were 19 teams that tested at Las Vegas here just a couple weeks ago. So they've got some data. Atlanta is pretty much the same track as what Charlotte was, so they've also got data from last year. But I don't know if they're going to be running the same tires as they did then, and that's what the test pretty much was for out in Vegas, was a tire test. So it's going to be if these guys don't get any practice time, it's going to be a real crapshoot.
This race last year at Atlanta Motor Speedway, Kevin Harvick was able to win Stage 1. Brad Keselowski won Stage number 2. In the answer to the trivia question from Turn 1, Kevin Harvick picked up win number 1 on the season in 2018. Brad Keselowski came home second, Clint Bowyer in third, Denny Hamlin in fourth, and Martin Truex Jr. driving the 78 machine from Furniture Row Racing finished in the top 5. Today's action kicks off. All picks are due at 1 o'clock. I believe that's when the coverage kicks off, and I think the green flag is set to wave at about 1:30 or 1:40. 1:30 this afternoon. So make sure you get your picks in on time. Coverage is on Fox and PRN. Get over to Quaker Steak and Lube, the official watering hole of the front stretch, for all the green flag action. And if you didn't get signed up for the Pick'ems contest, even though Daytona is behind us, there is still time for you to get signed up. Just send us an email, frontstretchradio@gmail.com. We'll get you signed up absolutely for free. Is there anything we missed before we wrapped up today's show?
No, it's going to be another interesting race. Like I said, especially if the weather is a mess on Friday and Saturday and there's no practice, it'll be a real interesting race on Sunday. But I can guarantee you one thing, it will not be a follow the leader thing.
No, absolutely not. Get over to Quaker Steak and Lube today, the official watering hole of the front stretch. Thank you so much to all of our great sponsors for helping us provide today's show and bring it to you. We'll be back next weekend. Mike Mittler will join us to announce who's going to be in the 63 at Eldora for the truck race, and Devin Peterson, sport mod driver in the area, will join us to talk about his plans for 2019. For Dirk Houston, I'm Dan Taylor. This has been The Front Stretch, presented by Joe's Karting on AM 590.
Every race car driver has run into the same problem. It's well past normal parts store closing hours, but you need that one to finish your car. The guys who brought you white knuckle racing by the river bring you Joe's Karting Racing Parts and Tire Store. Open until 10 p.m. Monday to Thursday and open until 11 p.m. on Friday and Saturday. A parts store that fits your after-hours schedule, and you can turn a few laps at Joe's Karting while you're waiting for your part to get pulled from their warehouse. Joe'sKarting.com for more information.
The official watering hole of the front stretch has you covered any day of the week with the best wings, great burgers, and amazing steaks. Each weekday from 4 to 6 is happy hour, featuring $1 off draft and well drinks plus $4 Luberitas. Mondays are kids' night. Tuesdays are all-you-can-eat wings for $12.95, and the Lube even delivers to the Council Bluffs area. Like Quaker Steak and Lube Council Bluffs on Facebook for a full list of weekly events.
Get to Quaker Steak and Lube.
Mid-America Drive, Council Bluffs.
This has been the Front Stretch Radio Show, presented by Joe's Karting in Council Bluffs. To contact Dan or Dirk, find them on Facebook at The Front Stretch or email them at frontstretch590@gmail.com. If you missed any part of today's show or want to hear a previous show, subscribe to the Joe's Karting YouTube page, where you can find almost every Front Stretch show.